Hello, everyone. Cheshire the Cat has returned. I've made a fresh pot of coffee, and we are back with Planescape Torment. I apologize if I went a little bit crazy last time. I did go a little bit crazy last time. But now, we are here exploring the ways of the art. And I wanted to take some time to just kind of sleep on things. I actually recorded that episode last night, and for some reason it wouldn't load until this morning.
All right.
No idea what was going on there. But now I have made some decisions about where I want to go next. And I do believe that I actually want to try going down here now. I do not want to go to the Alley of Dangerous Corners. That's where the Chaos Men are. Not feeling that brave yet. Now, Fell's Tattoo Parlor, Painted Door to Tenement of Thugs. Rogers Warehouse. There is supposed to be another part of Sigil that I haven't quite wandered into yet. There's Mourns for Trees. I am intending to make headway to a new party member. Preferably one of the two female party members, because frankly, I am fond of them both. First, let's check out Fell's Tattoo Parlor. This is a very special Dabus, if I recall. You see a tall creature with a shock of white hair. Its skin has a greenish cast, and a pair of goat horns protrudes from his forehead. It is dressed in long flowing robes. Greetings. A series of symbols materializes above the creature's head. The symbols have a slight glow about them, and they just hover there. Oh, for the power's sake! Piking Dabus. What's wrong? He's a Dabus. They speak in rebuses, these annoying word puzzles. If you don't know what he's saying, then we better find a native or some other way to communicate with him. If we want to, an annoying bunch. I bet they can speak, they would just rather piss off everyone else by trying to puzzle out what they're saying. What's a Dabus? Chances they're janitors for ladies of paint. We actually know this already. They float around breaking, fixing, and patching up Sigil according to her whims. They're worse than corpse flies. You can't swat them, though, or the lady'll get upset. Lady of Pain? Who's that? She runs this city. You'll know her if you see her. She's got these blades around her face. She's about the size of a giant, and she floats off the ground, just like these guys. Mort nods at the Dabus, who is looking at you both. Nobody knows much about her. She doesn't speak much. All you need to know is that you don't want to make her angry. If you see her, my advice, run. Hold a moment. You said Dabus float, right? This one's walking on the ground. Dabus's eyes widen. Aha! I knew you goat's heads could talk. I could walk. I knew it. Ha! This one must be aloof enough to get off the ground. Maybe. Dabus waits patiently, its hands tucked into its sleeve. A series of symbols materialize over its head, then dissipate, and a question mark appears. See if you can translate what the Dabus is saying. Hey, I learned the language. You ask the Dabus several questions, trying to get a feel for the rebuses that appear above its head. It is extremely patient throughout your discussion, giving you easy sentences to translate. After a few minutes, you start to get the hang of it. It feels like you've done this before. Maybe you can help me. Let's wait. Who are you? As you're about to ask, you suddenly realize you already know the Dabus's name. His name is Fell. As if in response, the Dabus inclines its head slightly, and a lone symbol appears above its head. It is blurry at first, resolves into a white oval with a black lightning bolt through it. I feel like I know you, Fell. Fell bows reverently, and a stream of symbols swirl about its head, rotating clockwise, then counterclockwise. It takes a moment to translate. This is the first time and not the first time you've come to this place. Do you know who I am? Another series of symbols materializes quickly and sharply into focus above Fell's head. Translation comes to you just as quickly and sharply as the symbols themselves. and as if you translated the exact same string many times before. Yes, but I am not permitted to tell your story. Why not?
Updated my journal.
For a moment, there is no response from Fel. Then a stream of abuses appear as if trickling out of Fel's mind. My apologies. I cannot change the nature of a man. So, that's a sentence to hold on to later. Oh, I almost jumped the gun on a lot of things. I need to play this game some more. You can't explain why, but the last sentence sends a crawling sensation through your skull. Okay, I can't say it here. Nature of a man. What does that mean? The symbols above the head fell almost mirror the previous dream. My apologies, I cannot say. Other questions for you, Fel. You said we've met before. Do you know how I died? I respond for a moment, then slowly across the head, each of them. Shadows. Shadows? Remember those eldritch things that were following me in the mortuary? They had a little cutscene about them. The three symbols swirl about each other, each leaving a faint black misty trail about them. They take on a ragged edge like teeth and talons and multiply. Where there were 3, there is 9. 9 becomes 27, until the room is a swarm of shadows. Many shadows, they streamed from the darkness, swarmed you, then left you to die. Why? Love is resolved be a simple symbol. I do not know. See, I had some other questions. I feel like I know you, Fel. Okay, so I've asked this already. Do you know who I am? Why not? I feel like if I press on this... Trip of a man. What's behind the curtain, Fel? Change the symbol slowly and shows around you. It is my gallery. Your discarded skins are my canvas. I admire you. I am saddened for you. Saddened for me? Why? Oh, my that explains why I'm covered in scars. Another caravan of symbols forms round Fel, this time forming a circle. The mark of torment lies upon your flesh. Tragedies and loss have built themselves upon it. Like stones upon a foundation, you have endured a great pain. What do you mean? Your abuses appear above Fel's head and in terms like manacles. I admire you because you have never surrendered to the weight of these losses, despite the fact that their chains hang on you still. Go on. Long string of abuses appears above Fel's head, like a cloak. These losses blanket this life and all of your past ones. You shed lives like a molting serpent. You're exploring the infinite paths of life. Tell me more. Take with you this warning. Each of your lives casts a shadow on existence. You must travel to a place where the shadows have gone mad and regrets have scarred the earth. Is there anything else you can tell me? A brief series of paper-thin abuses appear in orderly row next to Fel. Do not sign anything. Very well. Do you feel complete? I don't. In fact, ever since I woke up in the mortuary, I feel like something's missing. Something inside. You are strong. Keep faith and you shall become whole again. I'll try. Thanks. Farewell. Fel, I may return later when I have some other questions. Farewell. So this is actually a very important character. And I believe I got just an update to my journal here. Yeah, here we go. Now we have the journal, which I've never brought up before. Every time he says, updated my journal, updated my journal, updated my journal, updated my journal. I'm not kidding. There's a joke about that everywhere. He will write down what he has learned. That he knew me, but he couldn't tell me my story. But the strangest thing was the reason. He said he cannot because he cannot change the nature of a man. So, that is a question that, if you've ever owned the box, or if you got the Switch version or the PS4 version, one of the biggest questions that goes on throughout the entirety of this game is what can change the nature of a man? And I am holding out to name that for that later down the road. In the meantime, we are not done here. We will be back. So, not where I wanted to go, but definitely a place I want to remember. So, I'm being mugged. Hold up. Map. Bring me back here.
Alright.
Ooh, we're fighting some of these barking dogs, I think. Okay, I'm gonna show off something about this combat that I actually love. I can pause it, and I can still give commands. So if I ask Mort here to use his special skill, remember all those angry words we've been learning? Let's put him to use, shall... Oh, he's dead. Never mind. So, let's say I don't want that guy... Let's try this again. So let's say I don't want this guy back here who's about to attack Dakon or myself. Now I can just have Mort curse him out. And he's flashing red, which means he's angry. So now he's fighting Mort. Starved dog barking thug. Hey. Well, I angered someone. I might actually be causing a little too much chaos here, so I'm just gonna take these goods from the people who tried to mug me and hope that I do not cross paths with a certain someone I really don't want to cross paths with. Oh, for the love of Sam Hill. Hit me first. Go for the kill.
You see that?
Was that? Okay, that's 2 of the barking dogs. Who knows, maybe I'll find a 3rd one. By some odd coinkydink. Now, I could have sworn that was her. Alright. Well, I'm gonna try going down here and see if I can find my way to another part of Sigil that I actually have not been to yet. Hive Dwelling, Office of Vermin and Disease Control, Skins Kip.
Done.
I mentioned this being funny earlier, so as long as I'm in town, I'll also talk with Requind. Oop, got another muggin. Actually, another thing I can do, real fast. So long as I've been showing you guys that you can pause and give commands, why don't we put some of the nameless ones' new magic to use? Cast Chromatic Orb on this fellow. Boom. And voila! We just casted magic. Now if my party would be so kind as to get in on this. I'll take that as well. Okay, let's talk to Requind. This man is looking at you with a strange, bug-eyed stare. His eyes are huge, so huge that they look ready to pop out of his sockets and roll across the cobblestones. He nods eagerly as you approach, bobbing his head like a bird, and as you near him, you suddenly notice the smell of urine and feces surrounding him. Ugh. Greetings. The man sniffles, wiping his nose on his sleeve, then opens his mouth to reveal blackened, rotting gums. Stories for coins, Sarah. His breath reeks. It smells like the man has been keeping rotten meat stored inside his mouth. Stories for coin? Ugh, who are you? The man snorts with a thick phlegm. Names, who you are. His head a slight twitch every time he repeats himself. Names, dangerous. He glances around at the ground, stirs at the dirt with his foot. Dangerous. Knowing a name or being stuck with one, both's a mess of trouble. He looks up at you. My name's a given name, not one I asked for. Requind. Once again, you become conscious of his reeking breath and the smell of urine. Then feces. That surrounds him. A given name. A given name. The name fits you well. An appropriate name. is that your real name? I'm not gonna be that mean to this fellow. And he's just an interesting character. Not a true name, true name. Requin mumbles on his head, twitching every time he says name. A true name's a dangerous thing, gives others power. He stares at you with huge eyes and wags a finger. Keep your name secret. Keep it close. Never let it out. Now, luckily, I am the nameless one, so I don't have to worry about this so much. But this is actually referring to something that I believe comes from Fey mythology, where if someone knows your name, they have control over you. I believe the full of it is like, if you give someone your name, they have control over you, and if you give them your birth date, they have a hold over the paths you've walked, the paths you're walking, and the paths you will walk. Something like that. What do you mean? Names are like smells. Things can track you with them. Requin coughs, his eyes almost popping out of his skull as he does so. His cough seems to loosen his bowels, for he breaks wind loudly, as if to accentuate his point. If someone knows a true name, it gives them power. He licks the power to hurt. I don't know my true name.
Updated my journal.
Wynn's eyes widen, seeing his eyes bulge even larger makes you uneasy. And you are blessed, blessed. Remain nameless, and you shall be as a spirit on the plains, untraceable, untrackable, unseen, undiscovered. Names chosen, a name given. It allows others to find you and hurt you. Have you been hurt? Requin gives a twitching nod, then scratches himself. Let my name slip once, only once. His eyes film as if the memory is painful, then he glances at you uneasily. Tell you the story I will, but 3 coppers I must see. His face splits into a smile as he says the word coppers. His reeking breath hits you like a hammer. Very well, take the copper. Requin gives you into a stance, looks left, looks right, then faces you. His face clenches with a grunt. He breaks wind again. The smell nearly levels you, but he takes no notice. Cursed I walked the wards in splendor. He stands up stiffly, nose high in the air. He slanders back and forth, nodding to an invisible passerby.
Updated my journal.
Requin freezes, his arms akimbo. Cross paths with a crossed one, had the looking of a pumpkin, his seeds. Curses! Requin then thrusts his belly out so as to appear fat, slicks back his hair with his filthy palm. He almost looks bald and begins drumming on his fingers on his fat belly. He then walks around, circling a spot where his stuffy upper-class persona used to be. All a jumble with curses this one was. With a sneer and a careless gesture, Requin tosses an invisible curse at the stuffy persona. Listen, keep listening. Knew my name, let it slip, I had, all it took it all. He stiffens up again, inhaling deeply and resuming his upper-class persona. The persona suddenly crumbles and Requin breaks wind violently, then exhales, filling the air with his foul-reeking breath. Cursed with stenches, smells, excrement. Oh, God, poor guy. Came here to tell tales, all good for now. Now Requin is the name, given name. I see. I had other questions. Story. Actually, farewell. So, this fellow actually used to be some big upper-class man until he seemingly crossed the wrong person and just kind of wound up. Just kind of wound up getting cursed so that he is constantly stinking himself up. Come to see my blades, have you? Yes, I have. Yes, I have, actually. This is good. First, I'm going to sell as much as I can. I'll hang on to 1 dirty rat charm. And now, I need to think of what I can hold as a mage. Ooh, I can hold the green steel knife. Okay, so green steel is actually way better than anything I've got. And this is a really nice weapon. I like that you can examine stuff before you buy it. This razor-sharp knife has been forged out of the Batorian green steel, found only in the wastelands of Avernus. This particular green ore can be tempered into metal much lighter than normal steel. In addition, the green steel weapons tend to retain their remarkably fine edges and are capable of dealing out more damage than their standard counterparts. I can compare that to the green steel dagger, which is 2 to 5 piercing. This slim dagger has been forged out of... So this is the same thing. Last time I went with the green steel knife, and that was plenty. This time, I'll go with the dagger. So I'll buy one of those, and I really have nothing else to sell, huh? I want to hold on to those. I do not want to sell that. Although, I will do something kind of funny. I'm done. I'm going to go to my inventory, and I'm just going to replace the scalpel with the green steel dagger. I'll give Mort the scalpel, and you'll notice his weapon is his teeth, which makes sense. He's a skull. But if you try to give him a weapon...
Or I'll just swing it with my arms.
I love that smart Alec. You can't actually get Mort better teeth down the road. Well, I'm not really finding the direction I want to go just now, so before I take a moment to look into that, I'm going to explore the inner marketplace. Oh, it's a small dwelling, not the marketplace. What? Hold on. I am confused. I just sworn there was like another... a whole other marketplace right here. Hello, where am I right now? Huh. What do you know, even after clearing this game, I can still come back and learn stuff. Oh, this is where I wanted to go. No, this is not where I wanted to go. That was the alley of dangerous angles, and I am not feeling that quite yet. But what? Okay, hold on. Show walkable. Show map notes. World map. Interesting. Clerk's Ward. This is where I want to go. So... Oop. I'm being attacked. You guys started it. Okay, cool. A little bonus XP. Yeah, that's another thing. True to real life, when you're checking the map, make sure you're not under attack, and that's why I appreciate that warning sound. Now I could pick up the copper nameless one. There we go. Now, again, pause. Now let's look at that map, because I don't feel like getting attacked. So let's see. We've been to the Ragpickers Square. The Buried Village we haven't gotten to yet. And you'll notice, this is what I mean by the world is actually a lot bigger than it lets on, but the majority of the game will be happening within these 6 areas here. So, the area I'm trying to get to is here in the lower ward. Right now I am down here. And I'm trying to remember how to get over there. I'm determined to do as much of this game as I can without a guide. I may, but if I have to pull one up, I will. In the meantime, I'm going to keep exploring while I can, because that is the fun of this. So what the hey, let's explore this building randomly. Random exploration! Always fun. Small dwelling. In a loud, booming voice, Braskin asks, "What in the name of the abyss are you doing in my house? Leave now before I make you even more ugly than you already are." Yet, unless you have some immediate business... Sorry, wrong house. I'll be on my way. Well, that was interesting. Let's go bug some more strangers. Now, typically, those who just say like hive dweller or just have a generic name typically are not of too much importance. Oh, for the love of stop running away.
All right.
Love Mort. Speaking of how people have special names, Prior Esanon. Soon to tears have carved channels down this man's dust-covered face. He looks like to be a monk or a holy man of some sort, but the dirt covering his body makes it nearly impossible to see the man beneath. He is chanting and rolling his head back and forth like some sort of ritual. Oh, I beg your pardon. Seems I didn't sleep all that well. Coffee to the rescue. Greetings. The man stops his frenzied chanting and glares at you with tear-rimmed eyes, opens his parched mouth to speak, but all he can manage is a withered croak. What's wrong? Why are you crying? His voice is so hoarse that it sounds like he has been without water for days. As you watch, a tear trickles down his face. I am a crier of Esanon.
Updated my journal.
Who is Esanon? Throws his head back and gives a rasping laugh. It sounds brutal and defeated. Esanon, it is not a man, but a city. Why do you cry for a city? We cry its name because Esanon must not be forgotten. All criers of Esanon carry this burden. Mourn a city? Why would you do such a thing? Because its name is all that remains. Its avenues of light, its great spiraling parks. When it was laid waste and reduced to memory, only 70 of its people survived. It was our duty to see that its name was remembered across the plains. Many criers of Esanon have died for the sake of remembering. Many. If it places you and the others at risks, why don't you stop? The tears I shed, the dust that cloaks me, these things are nothing compared to what awaits should I give up my sacred burden. We must see to it that the name is remembered. We are living memorials to its passage. If that's so, what happens if you all die? A fresh tear springs from the crier's eye. Even his dust-caked face cannot disguise the look of despair. I do not know. We criers of Esanon cannot mourn it forever. Even now the dust clings to our robes, the spit dries in our mouth, our bodies wither and die. Is there any way I can help you? You are kind to ask, the crier shakes his head. Unless you can immortalize Esanon, there is no help to be had. Does it have to be you that cries Esanon? It must be immortalized by man. Would a tombstone serve? Tombstone? It's a stone that records a man's name, his life, and a eulogy. If it serves a man, could it not also serve a city that has died? Stones may do such things? Yes, and their lifetime is longer than a man's. If its name is carved on stone, would Esanon's memory be served? Would others see this name? Yes, it would be there for all to see, long after you've died. If such a thing were possible, where would one find such a stone? I could go look for one. If I find one, I could see to it that Esanon's name is carved upon it. Okay, we have a quest for this recording. Yay! Because you guys may remember, there's an obelisk right in front of the mortuary. So, I just have to go to Death of Names and say Esanon. Could go look for one. If I find one, I could see to Esanon's name is carved upon it. You would do this? The man's eyes water up again. You'd be setting all the criers of Esanon free. But a score of us remain. The burden remembering would be after so many years. I would do so. I'll return when the name is carved. So, let us go back to, not the mortuary. Cursor. There we go. Not to the mortuary, but to the town of it. Also, thanks to our little conversation with Fell earlier, it has just occurred to me that I now know the... Excuse you! Am I being rude? No, you're being rude. Don't want your buddy missing out.
What's up?
Get over here.
You know, if I gotta slam my eyeball against you one more second, I'm gonna puke.
I love these characters.
Weren't she? I'm scum.
Huh. He actually saved it.
Don't got a bone, you with.
I love having Mort in my party so much. Like, I know I explained him in a previous episode, but my god, is it fun to have him in this game. I am running out of inventory space. I should find somewhere else to put this stuff that I can sell. Maybe Dakon will wear some of it. He has a wrist. That works. And I'll put on a couple of rings. And Dakon will probably put on a couple of rings for me as well. Which can easily be replaced. We can talk about the Circle of Zerthamon another time. Nails here, cutter. That's right, picker square. Here we go. This is where we want to go. So, here we are, the great big stone. Alright. Death of names. Readings. I'd like to bury a name.
Updated my journal.
The coppers fall into Death of Name's hand, and he tucks his arm back. He moves forward on the walls of the memorial stone. Wait. He catches sight of a spot on the wall, and he quickly scuttles over to it, hunches down, hops up, then returns to you. Buried! The word has a finality about it that makes you uncomfortable. Thank you. Farewell. So now, I can return to the Crier of Essanon, which was all the way over here. Some of these episodes may be a little bit slower than others, and I apologize in advance for that. This really is like a weird in-between where I have so many things that I've played through in this game that I'm trying to do as much off memory as I can. Where is the Crier of Essanon? Wasn't he like right here? He was a little farther down. And there he is. I have seen to it that Essanon's name has been remembered. It lies carved upon the black stone monument outside the mortuary.
Updated my journal.
Suddenly there was a brief whisper in the air, and the man's eyes dry. One of the tears that ran on his cheeks simply vanishes. Then Essanon is served. I will tell my fellow criers of the stone you have described. Have my gratitude. It did cost me some coffees. I hope you and your brothers spend the rest of your days peacefully. I could ask him for the coppers, but considering he's been crying his eyes out, I'm not gonna. And as a matter of fact, we're just getting more and more experience. We are steadily working on, so close, getting that mage level up higher and higher. Well, thank you guys very much for attending this episode. The next time I start recording will hopefully be when I have found the town I am trying to go to. There will be a small cut between episodes here, and I apologize for that. But thank you very much for... where am I going? Thank you very much for attending this one, and I hope you all have a lovely day.